Gao Feng arrives in a city called Longsai, in a fictional Asian country, to find his brother who works at Dr. Li's scientific biolab. But once he gets there, Gao Feng learns that his brother actually died 2 years earlier after contracting an exotic virus he had been studying. Sensing that something isn't right, Gao Feng begins to investigate, and soon enough his suspicions are confirmed. The IMDb page for The Lonely Warrior lists the film's budget at around $3 million, but that's clearly an exaggeration. The average Chinese streaming release costs closer to $1 million, and this one appears to have been made for even less. In 2025, Chinese streaming platforms were flooded with low-budget action films built on the same formula, and The Lonely Warrior sits somewhere near the bottom of that already modest quality range. A few months before The Lonely Warrior, another action film, Angry Rescue, hit Chinese streaming services made by roughly the same team. Despite its derivative and formulaic nature, that film at least had recognizable faces, starring Tiger Chen and Mia Muki, both notable figures in action cinema. The Lonely Warrior, by contrast, feels like a copy of a copy. An attempt to do roughly the same thing on an even tighter budget, this time putting the relatively unknown Wang Qing-Ting, who had only a supporting role in Angry Rescue, front and center. That said, the film's biggest problem isn't the lack of star power, or even its obvious cheapness. The Lonely Warrior suffers from a very weak script, written by someone who seems to have a vague idea of what an action movie is, but no understanding of how to structure one. The film is packed with unnecessary characters who exist only to give the heroes someone to rescue or worry about, while Gao Feng, despite the title, keeps getting captured and has to be rescued himself. The action follows a familiar pattern for Chinese streaming fare. These films typically open with their most impressive set piece. But even here, the opening sequence fails to impress, and what the filmmakers saved for the finale is even more underwhelming. One particularly absurd scene takes place in an underground lab, where Gao Feng and his partner, armed with a rifle and a pistol, are attacked by a group of villains in hazmat suits, wielding what look like chopped-off pipes. Presumably, the filmmakers were aiming for something in the vein of John Wick, but the result feels more like shooting fish in a barrel, watching enemies get gunned down before they can even swing their pipes. Stylish poses and obligatory reloads do little to make it feel any more heroic. The filmmaker's level of commitment is also reflected in the marketing. On the film's poster, Billy Lee, who plays one of the villains, is shown with a completely different hairstyle than he has in the movie, and the English title itself is misspelled. It's hard to shake the feeling that even the creators of The Lonely Warrior didn't have much faith in their own film, so why should we?